What's up, gamers? It's time to goon. Now, if you are a terminally online individual, such as myself, then you've probably seen the discourse surrounding beautification in video games / the uglification of games, right? Essentially, gamers rising up against the evil developers that are making video game characters ugly. Right off the bat, I just want to say that I have absolutely zero problem with like hot video game characters. Stellar Blade is a game where essentially the whole point of the game is to just have like a hot Korean lady for you to goon over. And to that I say, God bless you, to the developers that made the game and to the gamers that are doing their one-handed playthroughs. And another thing that I want to just say up front is that there absolutely are times where developers make ugly characters. One of the clear examples that I can think of is Mary Jane in Spider-Man 2. I mean, they made her ugly. Like they did, right? Obviously, beauty is subjective and yada, yada, yada. And maybe you subjectively find her attractive, but I think as far as like conventional beauty standards, she ain't really it. Now, do I personally care that much? No. This version of Mary Jane isn't a supermodel. She's not an opera singer. Is that what she was in the fucking Raimi Spider-Man movies? She's a reporter / podcaster, I think, at the end of Spider-Man 2. So her being attractive isn't like an important aspect to this character, right? This iteration of Mary Jane. I think it's totally valid to point out that she's not as attractive as past iterations of the character and, to criticize it if that's something that you desire out of your game. The thing that annoys me personally is just the fact that she looks different from the first Spider-Man game. Why change the look? It's a video game. Why am I having to deal with recastings? It's so weird. They did it to Peter Parker too. This is him in the first game. This is him in the second game. Again. Why? Now, does this mean that Insomniac has an ugly agenda where they just want to spread ugliness out into the world? I mean, I just don't think that we can really come to that conclusion since Peter Parker actually looks more handsome in Spider-Man 2. Not to mention that Black Cat is in Spider-Man 2 and she is very much conventionally attractive. But at least with the Mary Jane in Spider-Man 2 situation, it's like a tangible thing that we can actually talk about and have a conversation about where everybody involved exists in the same reality, right? Like I can look at the situation and be like, personally doesn't bother me. Somebody else can look at the situation and be like, it does kind of bother me. I would rather have an attractive Mary Jane, okay? I'm trying to go to Goontown and the bus isn't accepting my currency. I don't know what that metaphor was. However, there are so many times where I look at people having these conversations and they simply just don't exist in reality. And so I want to talk about some examples where I actually played the games that these people are complaining about. And again, as somebody that played the games, okay, one of them isn't a game, but we'll get to it. And so I want to talk about like 3 situations where I actually consumed the art. I consumed the piece of media that these people are complaining about. And I can tell you that they are completely full of shit. They are not living in the same reality as I am. So I remember hearing a lot about Horizon Forbidden West, how they made the main character Aloy ugly, how they made her face fat. These were things that I remember people saying. This is what the character looks like. I shit you not, this is the ugly character that people were talking about. What? I just feel like this is a conventionally attractive character? Again, maybe she's not your type or whatever, but to say that she's ugly is just like, what? To say that she's a part of a woke DEI ugly agenda is just like, huh? Now, another example of this happening is Kay Vess from the new Star Wars Outlaws game. This is a situation where I've seen the sales numbers, okay? I know you motherfuckers didn't play this game because nobody bought it. I did play it, okay? To be fair, I didn't buy it. I got it on the Ubisoft Plus subscription service, and I streamed it using Amazon Luna. That's a detail that nobody actually cares about. But in any case, this is who people are calling ugly. Ew, gross. I guess? Again, beauty is technically subjective. But, like, I think we can all acknowledge that this is a person that, if they existed in the real world, would be conventionally attractive. Actually, what are we talking about? And another bizarre aspect that gets dragged into this conversation, I've seen people look up what the motion capture actress looks like, and they'll be like, they ruined the face of the actress. They changed the actress's face. This is proof that there is an ugly agenda. Can we just take a step back here? Has the culture war just completely broken our brains to the point where we don't understand that motion captured characters in games and movies and TV shows are not necessarily going to look like the actor that plays them? The artists design their characters, and then the motion capture artists just help them bring that vision to life. Sometimes, like in the example of the Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor games, yeah, the character, like Cal Kestis, looks like the actor in Cameron Monaghan. But other times, like The Last of Us, Joel doesn't really look like his motion capture actor, Troy Baker. It's really all about the artistic vision of the character. And when I look at Kay Vess, I feel like it's pretty obvious that they're trying to make her look like Sigourney Weaver in Alien. Right? Because the game takes place in the original trilogy period, and, they're trying to make it era specific or whatever. Like, that's clearly the artistic vision. Now, again, maybe you just subjectively think that the character isn't your type. But to suggest that this is a part of a secret cabal of woke activists within Ubisoft trying to purposely make Kay Vess ugly because of reasons and stuff and things is just silly. Just to be clear, if you're going to say that Kay Vess has a DEI chin, which to be clear is a real term that these people use, then I guess you have to get mad at God for being a woke activist game developer in this game that we call life. Now, I do want to be charitable because there absolutely are images of Kay Vess out there where, she looks like fucking Skeletor, right? But when she looks weird like that, it's not because of the intention of the developers to make her look like that. Just look at the promotional art. This is the idealistic way that they want the character to look like. And again, to be completely fair to people, most of the blame goes to Ubisoft on this, because if you're not rendering your fucking game properly, then yes, it absolutely is fair for people to criticize your game if the fucking character looks like this. Apparently, the game, when it released on consoles, was extremely buggy. I had the privilege of playing it on the Amazon Luna streaming service, where the game actually ran super well, and I honestly didn't have very many issues at all. And Kay, for the most part, in my playthrough, looked fine, looked how she was supposed to. But these fucking DEI activists out there on Twitter, if they're so invested in this, they should have the good faith to actually look into the situation, recognize that obviously the character isn't supposed to look like that, and the intention for her is to look attractive, right? To look cute, to look pretty. But you know what's low-key the saddest part about this? I feel like there used to be a time when a character would look like this, and we would just laugh because it's a funny, goofy render of the character. If the Spider-Man 3 movie game and this hilarious NPC character came out, we wouldn't be laughing about how hilarious this QTE is. We would have people on Twitter ranting about how Spider-Man is woke, the woke DEI activists are inserting their woke politics into the game, the ugly agenda is here. It's oh, instead of just being oh, that's a funny bad render. And I genuinely think that that's kind of sad. Okay, so I've admittedly been talking about this in the abstract. I've been saying things like, I remember people saying these things about Horizon Forbidden West and Star Wars Outlaws because, quite frankly, I was too lazy to go and look for like tweets and stuff about those specific games because that discourse happened in the past. But I decided to make this video while in the present seeing people's thoughts about the new Netflix Tomb Raider show. So this is technically not a video game, but it's a video game adaptation, so fuck you, who cares? And we're actually going to go through some tweets. So just to prove to you that these people are real, they do exist, and they live among you. So somebody posted this tweet of Lara Croft in the show, and they just said Lara Croft, and it's just like a picture of her looking pretty and whatnot, and you know, I feel like most reasonable minds should be able to come together in agreement that this is an attractive woman, right? Wrong. So somebody, you know, in quotation marks, put she looks like a man where? Because at this time, again, believe it or not, there were a bunch of people that were talking about how she looks like a man. Now, thankfully, we had somebody that was willing to explain to us precisely how she looks like a man. Here, says Eat Dixon Die. And when we pull up this picture, he graciously circled all of the man features. All right, so we have the DEI chin circled. We have the bicep circled. I guess that's a DEI bicep. Okay. We have the forearm circled. Both of them. I guess these are DEI forearms. And then we have the waist circled. I guess it's a DEI waist. This is the part where I think I can definitively say that this is a mental illness that should be classified in the DSM-5. So this was a really funny tweet where somebody said, "You're so right, actually. No one could ever love a masculine woman. Here's your ideal type." And so she edited Laura to be an anorexic woman with no chin. Can't have that DEI chin with very large circular breasts. And somebody responded to this and they were like, no. You guys don't get it. I'm going to be the real hero of the day and I'm going to explain precisely what is wrong. Ha ha ha. That chin is too much. Take this tutorial to do it right. The eyes are not tilted the right way. The nose and the mouth and the chin are too big. What? I'm not kidding. This is an actual mental disorder. I don't even think that his redesign is bad necessarily. I just think that they're both perfectly fine. And what's so weird about it is that you would think that these people would like this show. Like, there's a scene where she's in a sexy dress and she's fighting and it's like, oh, look how pretty she is or whatever. There's even a fan servicey bathtub scene where it's like, oh, we almost saw the boobie. Oh. You know, I feel like this tweet really exemplifies my confusion here. Male gaze, lesbian gaze. It's interesting that Lara Croft being sexualized for men is a problem for leftists. Yet if she's made broad-shouldered and aimed towards lesbians, then sexualizing her suddenly becomes okay. What are we talking about? I am a male. I'm gazing. So I want to go back to the point that I initially made with the whole Mary Jane situation. I'm not saying that there's never a case where, you know, a developer makes an ugly character. Like, obviously this does happen. But we've now gotten to the point where these people are culture warrior schizophrenics, where they're being haunted by the woke DEI chins in their head. I just can't have a conversation with you if we don't exist in the same reality. I guess I will leave you with DEI Adams apples.